This is Justice Knight filling in for Lisa Haven. If you didn't get a chance to see me last time, I'm a writer for Before It's News. And Lisa was nice enough to let me fill in on the topic today that would be about social physics. I'm going to jump right into a quote from Dr. Alex Sandy Pentland. We're going to refer to him as Sandy moving forward just for fun in the topic. And his quote is, "We are coming to realize that human behavior is determined as much by patterns of culture as by rational individual thinking. These patterns can be described mathematically and used to make accurate predictions." Predictions, of course, meaning in the future, and this is the core to this entire topic. Would you believe me if I told you a new science was at hand and it was happening right under your nose? That they are learning from every move you make, every breath you take. Sounds like a Police song, doesn't it? Remember, everybody thought that was such an innocent song and it was actually about somebody stalking somebody. Well, this is so much like that. They are stalking you. And what they're doing is taking what's called the Internet of Things. Everything that has a computer chip that can program, that can report back, your laptops, your social media, your phones, for example, are reporting back to what's the Internet of Things. And this is compiling data which Alex and his cronies, or Sandy and his cronies, are compiling to make predictive future determinations, basically creating a blueprint of your life because you've given them everything. You've registered when you go onto Facebook or Twitter, and you've told them things about you that they can now put into patterns and predict the future. A huge change. I don't know if I can tell you how astronomically predictive that is of what's going to happen. And to do this, we need to understand three concepts. We need to understand, first, social physics. Second, 5G. And third, blockchain. I know, blockchain. Ugh, trust me, it's no fun, but it's imperative to this argument. So we're going to start with social physics. And we're going to go to Wikipedia, and their definition of social physics is, in modern use, social physics refers to using big data analysis and the mathematical laws to understand the behavior of human crowds. The core idea is the data about human activity, and they reference phone calls, credit card purchases, taxi rides, web activity, just like we just spoke about. Contains mathematical patterns that are characteristics of how social interactions spread and converge. These mathematical invariances can then serve as a filter for analysis of behavior changes and for detecting emergent behavior patterns. Emerging. Again, future prediction. This is all possible because of big data. And so Alex Sandy Pentland and his cronies figured out a way, wait, if we can collect all this big data, we can create these algorithms and studies of how humans are going to act in the future. This moves us past something that we've always had in the past. If you take Google and Google Analytics, they were predictions of what you had done. So what I clicked on, what I searched on the internet, what I purchased, and you know this because if you've ever gone on the internet and gone to Amazon and looked for a product, and then suddenly you go onto another web screen or a news screen, and that product you were just looking for sitting there on the right-hand side of the screen. And how does it know that? Because it has predictive analytics that shows you and remembers things you looked at. And these are identifying marks, and these companies used to collect this data in their own personal servers that sat in their building, little boxes in the corner that were usually supposed to be air conditioned to keep them cool. Well, that became not enough, and companies got nervous. Well, what if my building burns down? I lose all the data on you. I lose your individual print. No big deal. We got the cloud. We'll throw it up in the cloud. And the cloud's not actually a cloud, as many of you know. There are these big buildings in major cities. I don't know if you've ever seen them, huge four-wall monstrosities. No windows, no anything, just a ton of air conditioning up on the top, and these are the servers that hold the cloud. So if one burns down, don't worry, there's 52 more that can hold the information, and you'll still get your data. You'll be able to get it from the cloud. And that drops down into what's called big data. Now Google, we don't have to worry about Google, right? They just use it for advertising. They would never sell my personal and private information or name, would they? They would. In the article it says, Google has quietly dropped ban on personal identifiable web tracking, and Google is the latest tech company to drop the long-standing wall between anonymous online ad tracking and user names. You're selling my name? You're selling my identity? You're selling my personal blueprint? Before, no big deal, right? Privacy in Google, they would never, again, change anything beyond that. So I just jumped into privacy.google.com. You can do it too. And I searched very quickly, and I found the following quote. It says, "We use data to make ads relevant. We try to show you useful ads by using data collected from your devices, including your searches and locations, websites and apps you've used, videos and ads you've seen, and personal information you have given us. such as your age range, gender, and topic of interest. Sounds so innocent, doesn't it? It's not innocent when it's put in the wrong hands, because using data collection from your devices, you've authorized all these devices to say, and once you click OK, and so they're collecting, again, a blueprint on you, and I'm going to say this over and over and over again so you understand how it's about to be used. I wouldn't go into Facebook's facial recognition software. Oh, thank goodness I can tag Janet, and Janet can see me, and she knows we're friends, and we knew we hung out, and we got to go everywhere, and everybody knows where I went, and I could tag all their faces immediately. That's phenomenal, right? Oh my gosh, it's horrible. It's facial recognition software to a scale we've never seen. The FBI is envious of Facebook's facial recognition software. I digress. We can study biometrics. I have articles on it. If you go to justiceanight.com, you can search, or go to Before It's News, put in Justice Night, and you'll see red pill, blue pill, and a ton of articles, one in regards to biometrics. But for right now, let's stop, because my detractors, and at the bottom of the feed, I'm going to say, you have no idea what you're talking about. They've been collecting data forever on you. Yes, you're right. They have been. I'm fully well aware of what target marketing is. If you search what I've looked at on the internet and what I've shopped for, then you know what to sell to me, and that's called target marketing, a great term. So enter in blockchain. I'd ask my editor to put in horrific music right now, but it's not really necessary because blockchain's horrific enough as it is. It's a beast of an entirely different color because it takes what was history and Google Analytics and pushes it to the next realm. It pushes it to the future. And I'm not going to go into a huge discussion on blockchain, but I'll play a short video so you can understand the basics of it.
But Bitcoin is just the beginning for blockchains. In the future, blockchains that manage and verify online data could enable us to launch companies that are entirely run by algorithms, making self-driving cars safer, help us protect our online identities, and even track the billions of devices on the Internet of Things.
So now we have the science of big data collection. We have the human predictive analysis called social physics, and we have blockchain, the framework to collect all the data and use it. But now, that would normally be not too much, right? Because we still have this Internet of Things and data that our systems in 4G are not nearly quick enough to keep up with. And there's no way they can create all this data exchange to typically isolate us down, can they? Superman music. Enter 5G. Don't worry, 5G has the solution. According to an NBC article, you have, although some have criticized 5G for its high projected cost, there's wide agreement that the emerging technology will bring faster, more reliable connections for users. It could be also used to provide extra bandwidth needed to create what's called the Internet of Things. Oh my gosh, Justice, how is this all linking together? It's called research. So I know the proverbial light just went off in your head and you connected the dots. And all I simply did was provided some of the canvas for you to look at. But now go a step further and think about the implications of what this can do. The implications of now you can start to generate models for politics. And let's say they don't agree with your position. Let's say they don't agree with your religion. Let's say that one of the old dictators, let's say Hitler, had access to this information and he can identify the races, the colors, the creeds of everything that he was looking for and find it in milliseconds. What would have happened? Nobody would have been quick enough to stop him because he would have had the data there in front of him to make any determination he wanted to where you were, who you were, and why he wanted you gone. Technology is fine and innocent when it's used for good. It's the problem with technology is when it's put in the wrong hands, technology becomes bad. And if that isn't doomful enough, the strangest thing of the story comes out. And we're going to go back to Sandy. Except this time we're going to go Alex Pentland and his company, which is called Endor. Remember when I said you had to understand biblical context sometimes to understand the irony of things that are being shoved in your face right in front of you? Well, Endor, and I'm going to read scripture from Samuel 28, chapter 7 through 20, and it states, Then Saul said to his servant, Seek out for me a woman who is a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, Behold, there is a medium at Endor. Endor, otherwise known as the Witch of Endor. And what basically happened here is Saul asked Samuel to be risen from the dead, and Samuel professed to Saul his death the very next day, and the death of his entire army. Prophetic, isn't it? Prophetic that you call your company Endor and predict the future demise? There is no such thing as coincidence. Always remember that. And so we're going to go to Endor and the company, and I jumped on their website and came across what's called Endor Protocol. And what it states is it's the democratization predictive science for everyone. Endor is the world's first predictive protocol enabling an ecosystem that provides automated, accurate, affordable predictions for individual and businesses alike. You are going to allow this technology to go down to the individual level through blockchain? There's something wrong. You have to understand, and in my next report, we're going to cover how this is going to go through to AI and artificial intelligence. Because if you've seen the rise of the machines and all the wonderful terminology, well, you are giving the machines a way to know what you're going to do. Imagine a police state. Imagine they're able to create AI robots and eventually give them predictive software to know how, what did it say earlier in it? A human crowd is going to react. They'll be able to control a human crowd because the computers will know exactly what you're going to do. Thanks to Sandy, the cronies, and everything that's being created from social physics. I'd like to thank you again. This has been Justice Knight reporting and filling in for Lisa Haven.
Back in 2007, when the stock market looked like this, few people were worried because they didn't know what was going on. But look what happened next. The warning signs were there then, just like they are now. The US stock market has never been higher. Many are saying it will go higher, just like they said in 2007. Are you ready for the fall? Do you know what to do? I know what I'll be doing. I'll be calling Noble Gold. I would be finding out about gold and silver IRAs, and quickly. I would want to make sure that my 401ks and IRAs were not exposed to this kind of collapse in the market. Be on the safe side and call Noble Gold today and talk to them. The number's here.